Welcome back to the deep dive. Um, this time we're going to be taking a closer look at the life of Habiba,
Oh, wow.
a woman of incredible strength and resilience
Mm.
in the face of, honestly, unbelievable challenges.
Definitely.
You've sent us some really thought-provoking sources about her,
Yeah,
and it's clear you want to go beyond the basic facts. You're
absolutely.
looking for the deeper meaning,
hmm
the why behind her story.
I think that's what's so captivating about Habiba.
Yeah.
Her story unfolds during a pivotal moment in history,
Yeah,
the very early days of Islam.
I see.
Imagine like a time of intense social and political upheaval
Right.
where embracing a new faith could mean losing everything.
Wow.
That's the world she lived in.
You mentioned that she was born into
Oh, yeah.
the powerful Banu Umayyad tribe in Mecca,
hmm
a clan known for their opposition to the Prophet Muhammad.
Exactly.
And get this, her father was Abu Sufyan,
Right.
one of the Prophet's fiercest rivals.
Yeah.
What was it like for her growing up
Well,
in the very heart of resistance to the message of Islam?
think about it. She was born about 14 or 15 years before the Prophet Muhammad received his first revelation.
Oh, wow.
That means her formative years were steeped in the traditions and beliefs of her tribe, a
Right.
tribe that saw Islam as a threat
Right.
to their power and way of life.
And yet she becomes one of the earliest converts to Islam,
I know, it's fascinating.
to choose a faith that your family, your
Mhm.
entire community
Mm.
is vehemently against.
Oh.
That must have taken immense courage.
Oh, definitely.
What do you think motivated her to take such a bold step?
It's really interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
We don't have her personal accounts.
Right.
But we can kind of imagine the internal struggle,
Okay.
the conviction it must have taken to embrace Islam,
Hmm.
knowing the consequences.
Yeah.
It speaks to the power of the message itself,
Right.
its ability to resonate on a deeply personal level,
Yeah.
even for someone deeply embedded
Wow.
in a society resistant to it.
And it wasn't just her.
Right.
Her husband, Ubaidullah ibn Josh,
Right.
also converted to Islam early on.
He did.
He was a fascinating figure in his own right,
Yeah.
having been a Christian before embracing Islam.
That's right.
In fact, he was one of the Hanifs,
Hmm.
those who, even before the Prophet Muhammad,
Right.
rejected the prevalent idolatry in Arabia
Yeah.
and sought a monotheistic path.
Exactly. He, along with a few others,
Okay.
like Waraka ibn Nawfal and Zayd ibn Amr ibn Nufail,
Mhm.
had already turned away from the traditional Arabian pantheon of gods.
Nice.
They recognized the concept of one god,
Okay.
even adopting Christianity
Right.
well before the Prophet Muhammad's message began to spread.
Interesting.
So you can see how Ubaidullah, already familiar with monotheism, might find resonance in the teachings of Islam.
So they both had this deep-seated belief in one God,
Right.
but their conversion came at a cost.
It did.
They faced intense persecution in Mecca,
Mhm.
ultimately leading them to join the second wave of Muslims
Yeah.
seeking refuge in Abyssinia,
Wow.
that modern-day Ethiopia, across the Red Sea.
Right.
Imagine leaving everything behind,
Yeah.
your home, your family, to escape religious persecution.
And not just that.
Yeah.
They were expecting their first child during this migration.
Oh, wow.
Their daughter, Habiba,
Okay.
was born in Abyssinia,
Wow.
marking a new chapter in their lives,
Right.
a chapter filled with both hope and hardship.
And then tragedy struck.
Oh.
The sources we have tell us that Habiba had a disturbing dream,
Oh.
seeing her husband with a disfigured face.
Mm.
And soon after, she discovered that Ubaidullah had not only renounced Islam,
Really?
reverting to Christianity,
Oh.
but also developed a severe problem with alcohol.
Oh, no.
This must have been a devastating blow to be widowed and alone in a foreign land
Right.
with a young daughter.
Yes, but this is where it gets interesting. While traditional Islamic sources mention Ubaidullah's apostasy,
Mm-hmm.
the evidence to support it isn't as clear-cut
I see.
as some other historical accounts.
So what are we to make of this discrepancy?
Yeah.
Does it challenge the traditional narrative?
It certainly invites a more nuanced understanding.
Okay.
Even if we consider the traditional account,
Right.
the focus is on Ubaidullah's tragic downfall
Mm-hmm.
due to personal struggles,
Yeah,
not necessarily a deliberate rejection of Islam.
I see.
What stands out to you is Habiba's resilience.
Yeah.
She held on to her faith amidst immense personal tragedy,
Right.
a testament to her strength of character.
And it's in this moment of utter vulnerability
Mm-hmm.
that something remarkable happens.
Okay.
Habiba has a dream
Yeah.
where she's addressed as Mother of the Believers.
Wow.
This title was specifically
Got
used
it.
for the wives of the Prophet Muhammad.
Exactly.
Given her circumstances,
Yeah.
it must have seemed impossible,
It would
a
have.
dream beyond the realm of reality.
Imagine the emotional turmoil, the confusion,
Yeah.
widowed, alone in a foreign land,
Mm-hmm.
facing a future filled with uncertainty. And suddenly, this dream, this whisper of something extraordinary.
Yeah.
But as we'll see sometimes, fate has a way of turning the impossible into reality.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And shortly after that dream, something truly remarkable happens. Habiba receives a proposal of marriage from the Prophet Muhammad himself.
Wow.
This wasn't just any proposal.
Right.
It was an act of compassion,
Mm.
a gesture of support for a woman facing immense hardship.
It's amazing how the prophet,
Yeah.
despite, leading a growing community and facing his own challenges,
Sure.
took the time to reach out to Habiba.
He sent a letter to the Abyssinian king Al-Najashi
Yeah.
asking for her hand in marriage.
Right.
Al-Najashi,
Okay.
the same king who had welcomed the Muslim refugees
yeah.
with open arms
Exactly.
and defended their right to practice their faiths.
Mhm.
What a powerful figure to be involved in this marriage.
Absolutely.
And the prophet didn't just ask Al-Najashi to arrange the marriage.
Yeah.
He chose him as his representative,
Right.
his wakil for the ceremony.
That's right.
This was a significant honor,
Absolutely.
especially considering other prominent Muslims
Yeah.
like Jafar ibn Abi Talib
Mm-hmm.
were also residing in Abyssinia.
It's true.
While this was a gesture of deep respect
That's
to
right.
Al-Najashi,
Mm.
could it also be seen as a strategic move?
Possibly.
Perhaps strengthening ties with a powerful ally?
Yeah.
Was there a political dimension to this marriage?
Wow.
Especially given the tensions between the Muslims and the Meccans.
That's a great point. It's important to remember that the personal and the political were often intertwined in those early days of Islam.
Hmm.
The prophet's actions likely had multiple layers of significance.
So tell us about the actual wedding.
Okay, so Al-Najashi, known for his generosity, organized a grand celebration in his palace,
Wow.
fit for royalty.
Right.
He even provided a remarkably large dowry,
Okay.
400 gold dinars,
Wow.
which is a staggering amount, even by today's standards.
That's roughly the equivalent of
Look.
$70,000 today.
I know.
It seems Al-Najashi truly went above and beyond to honor this union.
He really did.
There's also another figure in this story that I find incredibly touching.
Oh, yeah, Abraham.
Abraha, the servant girl sent by Al-Najashi
Yeah.
to personally convey the marriage proposal to Habiba.
Right.
When she saw Habiba's reaction,
Okay.
her sheer joy and relief,
Mhm.
Abraha was so moved that she requested Habiba
Okay.
to convey her greetings to the prophet, knowing she might never have the chance to meet him.
A beautiful testament to the respect and admiration the prophet inspired,
Absolutely.
even in those who simply witnessed these events.
It truly highlights the ripple effect of his actions,
Mhm.
and it's a testament to Habiba's character.
Yeah.
That upon reaching Medina, she did, in fact, convey Abraha's greetings to the prophet.
She did.
She did. And he, touched by her sincerity,
Wow.
responded with, "And upon her be the peace, the mercy, and the blessings of Allah."
Wow. It's these small human moments that really bring history to life.
It really does.
They remind us that even amidst these extraordinary events,
Yeah,
it's the connections,
right.
the acts of kindness and respect
Mm-hmm.
that truly resonate.
Mm-hmm.
But there's also a poignant note to this story,
Okay.
even though they were now married.
Yeah.
Habiba had to wait 6 long years
Oh, wow.
before finally joining the prophet in Medina.
6 years of anticipation, longing,
Yes.
and perhaps even a touch of apprehension.
Yeah.
Remember, she left Arabia as a young woman,
Mm.
newly married,
Right.
fleeing persecution.
Yeah. Now, she was returning as the wife of the prophet,
It's
a
sure.
leader of a burgeoning community
Mhm.
with a daughter who had spent her entire life in exile.
It wasn't until 7 years after the Hijra,
Wow.
that's the Prophet's migration to Medina,
Right.
marking the start of the Islamic calendar,
Yeah.
that Habiba, along with other Muslims who had sought refuge in Abyssinia,
Mm.
finally returned to Arabia.
Imagine the reunion,
Yeah.
not just with her husband, but with
God.
other women who had shared that unique experience of exile,
Wow.
of hardship,
Yeah.
and of unwavering faith.
Right.
They had a bond forged in the crucible of challenging circumstances.
It must have been a comfort to have each other,
Oh, definitely.
to share their stories,
Yeah.
their anxieties,
Ah.
and their hopes for the future.
Right.
But their individual personalities really shine through
Oh, yeah.
in how they react to becoming wives of the prophet.
Oh, interesting.
Salama, for example,
Mm.
expressed concerns about jealousy
Okay.
and adjusting to a polygamous marriage.
Right.
But um, Habiba seemed perfectly comfortable with the situation.
Really?
There's even an account of Habiba asking the prophet
Okay.
if he would consider marrying her sister.
Oh, wow.
It highlights the different ways in
Yeah.
which people adapt to new social structures,
Right.
especially when driven by faith and conviction.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, the prophet gently explained
Of course.
that marrying two sisters was not permissible in Islam,
Yeah.
even for him.
It's interesting to see those boundaries being established.
Right. And these boundaries, this
Yeah.
sense of order and clarity,
Uh-huh.
become even more important
Definitely.
as the Muslim community faces growing challenges, both
Right.
internal and external.
Yeah.
One such challenge was the violation of the Treaty of Hudaybiyah.
Oh, right.
This was a crucial treaty
Mm-hmm.
signed between the Muslims and the Meccans,
Yeah.
a 10-year pact
Wow.
that was seen as a step towards peace and coexistence.
It was.
But just 2 years later,
Mm-hmm.
the Meccans broke the treaty,
Really?
sparking renewed tensions.
Wow.
This is where Habiba's father,
Yeah.
Abu Sufyan, enters the scene again.
Right.
Remember, he was still a staunch opponent of Islam at this point.
It was.
Realizing the gravity of the situation,
Mm-hmm.
he desperately tried to salvage the peace.
Right.
Imagine the fear, the uncertainty gripping the Meccans,
Mhm.
knowing they had violated a sacred treaty
Right.
with a force that was rapidly gaining strength.
Wow.
He traveled to Medina,
Okay.
pleading with anyone who would listen her.
Mm-hmm.
The Prophet himself, Abu Bakr, Umar, even Fatima,
Right.
hoping to persuade the Prophet to renegotiate,
Yeah.
but no one was willing to entertain his pleas.
Right.
They saw it as a betrayal of trust,
Mm-hmm.
a deliberate act of aggression.
Yeah.
Desperate. He even approached his own daughter, Habiba,
Wow.
whom he hadn't seen in years.
Can you imagine that moment?
Right.
To go from being a powerful leader in Mecca
Yeah.
to a desperate father pleading for his city's safety
Ah.
with his own daughter?
It must have been a humbling experience for him.
I'm sure it was.
When Abu Sufyan entered Habiba's home,
Yeah.
which was also the Prophet's
Yeah.
home, he saw her sitting on the Prophet's bed,
Mm-hmm.
a simple palm mattress.
Okay.
But as soon as he stepped in,
Yeah.
Habiba quickly folded up the mattress
Oh, wow.
and sat on the floor. It seems like such a subtle gesture yet, so loaded with meaning. It speaks volumes about the complexities of their relationship, the layers of loyalty and conflict.
A confused Abu Sufyan even asked her, "My dear daughter, is the bed too good for me or am I too good for the bed?"
Oh, wow.
And her response is so powerful in its simplicity.
Yeah, what did she say?
She said, "It is the messenger of Allah's bed, and you are a polytheist, unclean. I did not think it appropriate that you sit on his bed."
She doesn't shy away from asserting her faith
Not a
and her loyalty to the Prophet,
Nope.
even when facing her own father,
Right.
a man who held immense power and influence.
That's a testament to her unwavering conviction.
This incident seems to foreshadow a turning point in Abu Sufyan's life.
Oh, how so?
When the Prophet eventually conquered Mecca, he showed extraordinary mercy,
Right.
granting amnesty to those who opposed him,
He did.
including Abu Sufyan.
Wow.
In that moment of immense relief and gratitude,
Yeah.
Abu Sufyan embraced Islam.
It's a dramatic transformation, isn't it?
It is.
From staunch opponent
Right.
to a follower of the very faith he had so fiercely resisted.
And it's said that Habiba's longest prostrations in prayer
Yeah.
were on the days when her father and brother
Okay.
Muawiyah accepted Islam.
What a poignant detail.
It speaks to the depth of her faith,
Yeah.
her compassion,
Mm-hmm.
and the joy she felt in witnessing her family find peace and guidance within Islam.
And despite her family becoming prominent figures in the Umayyad dynasty,
Okay.
Habiba chose a different path.
Oh, interesting.
She avoided political involvement
I see.
and dedicated her life to scholarship,
Okay.
teaching Islam,
Mhm.
and becoming a respected narrator of hadith,
Right.
the sayings and traditions of the Prophet Muhammad.
She was, in fact, the third most prolific female narrator of hadith.
Really?
That's a remarkable legacy,
It is?
especially considering the social norms of the time.
Absolutely.
Her students included some prominent figures,
Oh, yeah.
like her brothers Muawiyah and Anbasa,
Okay.
her daughter, Habiba, and
Right.
Zainab bint Salama.
Her impact extends far beyond those she personally taught
Right.
through the hadiths she narrated.
Yeah.
Um, Habiba's understanding of the faith, her insights into the Prophet's life and teachings have reached countless Muslims across centuries.
It really highlights the crucial role women played
It
in the
does.
early transmission and preservation of Islamic knowledge.
Yeah.
They weren't just passive recipients of knowledge.
Right.
They were active participants in shaping the understanding of the faith.
Precisely.
And while she was known for her dedication to scholarship and teaching, Habiba also demonstrated remarkable courage in the face of political turmoil.
Okay.
During the siege of Uthman ibn Affan,
Oh.
who later became the caliph,
Yeah.
she risked her own safety to try and help him.
Wow.
This was a chaotic period,
Yeah.
marked by political strife and unrest
Right.
within the Muslim community.
Right.
Despite generally staying away from political entanglements, Habiba felt compelled to act.
She did.
She hid water under her garments
Okay.
and rode a mule to Uthman's besieged residence,
Oh, wow.
hoping to provide him with some relief.
That's incredible.
It's a striking example of her compassion and sense of justice.
It is.
Sadly, her attempt was met with hostility.
Oh, no.
One of the young men involved in the siege stopped her,
Mm.
questioned her intentions,
Wow.
and even lifted her garment to expose the hidden water.
What a shocking display of disrespect.
I know.
Especially considering her status as the wife of the Prophet.
It's a stark reminder that even within a community founded on shared faith,
Yeah.
there can be individuals who stray from the path of compassion and justice.
That's
This incident eventually prompted Uthman to send all of the Prophet's wives to Mecca for their safety.
Oh, okay.
A wise decision given the volatile climate.
Yeah.
But even towards the end of her life,
Mm-hmm.
Habiba's character continued to shine through.
It did.
There's a moving account of her final days
Okay.
that reveals her humility and desire for reconciliation.
Tell me more about that.
On her deathbed, she called for Aish and Salama,
Okay.
two of the most prominent among the Prophet's wives.
Right?
She acknowledged that there had been disagreements and arguments between them,
Yeah,
as often happens in close relationships,
of course.
and she sought their forgiveness for any hurt she might have caused.
It's a beautiful testament to the bond of sisterhood they shared.
It is.
A reminder that even the most extraordinary lives are touched by human complexities.
And both Aisha and Salama readily forgave her.
They did.
They did,
Oh.
assuring her that any past conflicts were forgotten.
It's a poignant scene filled with compassion and grace.
It really is.
And a reminder of the importance of forgiveness,
Mm.
especially as we approach the end of our own journeys.
One of Habiba's most enduring legacies is her narration of the Hadith
Okay.
about the reward of praying 12 Rakat of Sunnah prayers.
Right.
These are voluntary prayers
Yeah.
performed in addition to the obligatory 5 daily prayers.
I see.
It's a practice observed by millions of Muslims around the world.
It's a beautiful practice.
It is.
The Hadith encourages praying 2 rakat before Fajr,
Mm-hmm.
4 before Dur, 2 after Dur, 2 after Maghrib, and 2 after Isha.
Okay.
Each person in the Hadith's chain of narration.
Right.
Starting with Habiba
Yeah.
diligently practiced these 12 rakat.
It's a powerful example
It is.
of how knowledge, when coupled with action, can resonate across generations.
Absolutely.
Habiba's life was one of extraordinary resilience and faith.
Definitely.
She navigated the complexities of her time,
Mm-hmm.
facing personal tragedy,
Yeah.
familial conflicts,
Right.
and political upheavals,
Wow.
yet never wavering in her belief
It's amazing.
or her commitment to her community.
Her story is a testament to the strength of the human spirit.
It
It's
is.
the power of conviction and the enduring impact of a life lived with purpose and compassion.
It really is.
It leaves us with a powerful question.
What can we learn from her journey? How can we, in our own time, embody that same spirit of resilience, dedication, and faith, facing our own unique challenges with grace and courage? That's something for all of us to ponder. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the life of Habiba.